it's a crisis, right? It's a crisis that we're living through right now. The idea was to make something that helped, that was about tackling social stigma, that was about really centering people's voices who had lived experience of a topic, but who maybe don't get much of a chance for their voices to be heard in the way that they should be. All the voices that you hear in the piece are from people that we spoke with and interviewed. If we can find a way of sharing those stories on in a way that recreates the experience that we've been really lucky to have, I think that would be enough. Tortoise in a Nutshell is a visual theatre company, a small-scale arts charity based in the north of Edinburgh, in New Haven. We've been creating and making work for the best part of 12 to 13 years now, and this piece kind of sits quite well in the history of how we've made and created work, particularly in the last sort of 5 or so years. All of our ideas are very visually led. We try to make things that really talk to people's imagination. We use a lot of colour and sound. We're really excited by those kind of elements of the world that you can feel in your tummy and your heart, and that really give you space and a chance to kind of escape out of your everyday. I think that's one of the things that's really special about what performance can be. It can let you escape.
How does that look height-wise, Jim? Is that about right?
Yeah.
Puppets, figures and items, I think they're a really brilliant reflection. They give us a chance to kind of see ourselves shared back at us, if you know what I mean. And particularly working with items and things that are very small but really, really detailed and intricate. There's a fragility to them, and there's a kind of living, breathing quality to them. At points, the piece kind of almost feels like a live animation. They've been really, really amazing and supportive, and have given a huge amount. So yeah, I really hope that they'll like it. It's quite a big one, so we'll see how that goes.
No, we said at the stairs we'll go for that.
We were quite keen to speak to Alec because it was another opportunity for families' voices to be heard, and for the play to be put on at the Edinburgh Festival, it's going to capture a lot of people. There'll be thousands of people hopefully over the month of August come and see this play, and hopefully it'll give people another perspective on how addiction affects families.
I'm really enthusiastic, really looking forward to it. Really worried about how awkward I'm probably going to sound in it. But I think it will be, yeah, I think it's a really great idea, and I think it's very powerful, and I particularly love the way that it's not just about a professional voice. It is about people with lived experience and families of people with lived experience of addiction, and how all of that is brought together. So yeah, I've been really looking forward to it.
Within the public space, addiction is not a comfortable thing to think about. We can protect ourselves against that fear by saying, well, it would never happen to me because I am morally superior, these people are weaker than I am.
The moral model of addiction, where it's bad people making bad choices, doing bad things.
The stories they were telling us were the things that we respected more than anything else. The trust they were giving us in what they were sharing with us about their lives, and sometimes really, really traumatic things from their lives that we were in effect asking them to relive.
Horrific, early life experiences. To be brutally honest, they may have survived and got this far because of their drug use.
We work with a family who the children were injected with heroin when they were 8, so that they could be used as drug mules, so they could be used to shoplift.
And the police have says to me when they came looking for my daughter, "What a beautiful home." I says, "What did you expect? It's for the wallpaper to be hanging off the walls, me sitting with no teeth and a shell suit on."
It's a massive injustice that so many people have had to live and work their way through substance addiction on their own.
We need to make sure that the next generation of my patients are not growing up in grinding poverty with lack of stable housing. Provide a way that when people wobble and fall off the road, they don't just end up in the criminal justice system.
I'm proud when people make that step into recovery and I see them achieving what they've set out to achieve. I'm proud of everybody who I've worked with, to be honest.
I thought it was really, really good. It was actually quite hard to watch. So I'm emotional, actually. It was actually quite hard to watch at points. I think that's because of how well they presented things that are really so difficult.
It is hard to watch because it's reality. It's our reality as families.
You know, you realise that even obviously working in the service that I work in, you still defend yourself actually by distancing yourself from some of the reality, and they really presented that so well. Yeah.
So it will be heading off to the festival next week, which was really soon, but that's okay. Just really hope it captures people's stories in the way they've been shared with us. Will be the big hope for the next month.
There were no safe spaces, so, you know, maybe if there'd been a safe space, our friend in January would have been there rather than in a toilet on his own and not found until the morning. You know, he's just one person, but how many people does it take to slowly add up?
It's the sort of piece that you need the politicians to see. You need the people who can make a difference.
It's really deeply uncomfortable to be that family and have to ring the school. And when my addicted loved one first accessed services, social work called me, you know, and they wanted to visit my home and check my children. And it's like, I'm in pain here and I need help. And instead, you know, it's like, I actually think I deserve a medal. I don't deserve to like be made to feel more ashamed.
There was a lot of things happening visually that was reflecting what was being said by people's real experiences, and it was just really touching. It was really beautiful.
Empathy requires vulnerability. People don't necessarily like to be vulnerable.
Oh, it's so much hope. That's what I love about what we do. We see the end of that loop. You know, it's not a loop anymore. You know, people have been spat out the end of the loop, and you know they're a bit dazed and confused, but they're full of hope. There's definitely hope, otherwise I wouldn't do what I do. I'm proof that there's hope as well.
I thought it was really interesting, the use of the different media and everything. It's definitely not something I've seen before.
It was really emotional and really touching to hear the experiences from people themselves.
Recovering from substance addiction it charges you with hope for the future, because if people can do it, then it means it's possible. And it's an amazing thing to see how much time, effort and love and care that people dedicate from all walks of life to each other to help support that. It's an amazing thing to see.